Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I want to thank you for your time and attendance to this webinar that's been prepared for building actionable BI from Domino data. Just a couple of quick housekeeping notes as we begin. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So if you do have questions as information is being presented, go ahead and open up your GoToWebinar control panel and type in the questions in the questions area, and that way it'll be queued up so that we can jump right into questions at the appropriate time. Also, just for your information, we are recording this for replay so that you can show this to colleagues if needed, and we'll go from there. So again, allow me to introduce today's presenters. Hal Hedges, Vice President of Product Management at RPR Wyatt, and Jim Engel from RPR Wyatt, who is the Vice President of Operations there. So everyone's tired of hearing me talk already. So Jim and Hal, I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Scott, and good day, everyone, and thank you for being here and joining us today. If you will, I'd like to go ahead and quickly review today's agenda. I will be speaking very briefly on the RPR Wyatt organization and our related offerings. I will then address what we perceive as a long-time problem with the Domino platform, reporting, or the lack thereof. Hal Hedges will then discuss the fun part, the solution to that problem, and he'll be conducting a demo using essential data to power essential reporting. All righty? Allow me to begin. RPR Wyatt now has offices and teams in all of these locations. We have development services in Boston, Phoenix, Seattle, and Paris. Our IT center plus support and consulting services are located in Texas and Slovakia. Finally, our sales is handled currently out of Phoenix and Monaco. Okay. In the interest of time today, I'm going to share just a list of the RPR Wyatt products and service offerings, but will not go into any detail. Please let me know if you have any questions, or please visit our website for more information. Our offerings do include a portfolio of administrative productivity tools, which is led by Vital Signs, our premier monitoring solution. Vital Signs allows you to view your entire collaborative environment, whether it is in a Microsoft or IBM suite. From a unified dashboard, you can view on your phone, on your tablet, or your PC your environment. Check out our website to learn more about Vital Signs and our other administrative tools. In addition to our products, we offer complementary services including custom development, remote administration, consulting, as well as technical and administrative support. Today, we'll be discussing our newest Domino solution, Essential Reporting, which is a module of Essential Frameworks. The focus here today will be on Essential Reporting. Okay. Right. As a thank you for taking your time and attending today's webinar, we will be giving away Essential Reporting for free for 60 days to every attendee. Turning Domino into business intelligence data is an exciting concept for us in this world, but with most organizations, the true value and the true excitement doesn't sink in until it's their data being extracted and transformed into business intelligence. Stay tuned at the end of the presentation for more details on how you will be getting your free Essential Reports license. Now, onto the fun. Any valued solution really begins with the problem it solves, and here's a nasty problem. The heart of today's digital revolution is data. As the amount of data continues to increase exponentially, so does our reliance on it for making decisions. It's become imperative to gather data, not just data, but actionable business intelligence around the data to identify current trends and threats in an environment. However, the problem is bringing this rich data out of the traditional Domino databases has always been present. Until now, complex and resource intensive, if doable at all. As most of you know, getting access to Domino data typically requires significant development and other technical efforts. Rich Domino data is constantly being created, for example, flowing into HR, CRM, and issue databases, only to be stuck in those database silos with little or no hope of getting out. Valuable Domino data is often isolated from those who need to leverage it the most. So that's the problem, getting access to a huge amount of Domino data. Now, we'd like to talk about the solution. Remember, any solution is only as valuable as the problem it solves, and I think this solution solves a significant problem. I'm now going to turn over the presentation to Scott for a quick poll question.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, so we do have a quick poll question for our audience. So on your screen, before we jump over to a solution demo, how are you currently exporting your Domino data? Are you using a third-party tool, custom development, or you're not, and that's why you're here? So let's get those mouse clicks going. It's just one click. So we have 75% of the audience has already voted. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to share the results of the poll. We're over 80%. Got a few shy ones still out there. And here we go. I'll share the results. So we have 15% of the audience says they're using third-party tools already, 46% using custom development, and 38% not using anything at the moment. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for your participation. So Hal, I'm now switching the screen over to you. And you're ready to go.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Let's start with a question. What's the best camera? The answer, it's the one on your phone. Why? Because 8 megapixels is actually excellent resolution and because it's already in your pocket. The same insight can be said of Domino and in particular, the HTTP server. It has plenty of horsepower, it's already configured and waiting to be used, and to continue the analogy, it's in your pocket. Despite its power to transform data ubiquitously, the HTTP server remains an underutilized piece of the Domino platform. Essential reporting makes use of the HTTP server to liberate Domino data. Why would you consider deploying expensive resources, doing development to access your data, when you could have essential reporting ready to deliver agents, reports against Domino data? The solution is to leverage your current investments. Now, going forward, please keep in mind that at no point are we going to be installing DLLs or plugins, nor will any design elements be changed or modified. In fact, there's not even a single line of code to consider. All of this is achieved as an exercise in configuration. Essential Reports removes the madness from Monday morning meeting madness, allowing you to simply show up at a departmental function without prep, confident that you can easily get the actionable data necessary to run an effective meeting and ultimately affect change. Let me set the scene here. Let's imagine it's Monday morning at eStruct Solutions, a technology services company, and you are attending the issues update meeting. To run a report, I open the Essentials database. I click on Run Report, select the report I'm looking to run, select the location where it's to be downloaded, and as soon as I do, I am brought into my report. I start off at the Preferences screen, which allows you to set data sources and use wizards to create new pivot tables. I'm going to run right away for my tech issues demo over and take a look at our dashboard. From this dashboard, I'm able to extrapolate a lot of information. I'm able to see breakdowns of my technician workload balance. I'm able to see how many open issues there are, which are critical, which are overdue, which are coming up. I'm able to see breakdowns by my category. And from here, I can go and take a look at actual breakdowns of critical issues, those that are overdue, those that are coming due in the next 14 days or 4 days. I have full access to pivot charts and can take and filter and sort and create these any way I want to. I have access to charts and graphs. And as we'll see later, I have the ability to compare multiple data sources. So I get full rich reporting by simply clicking on, to sum up this section, to simply click on Run Report, choose my report, and it gets downloaded. It's that simple. Now let's take a look at how we got here. The basis of any report is good data. Good data must be well-formed, accurate, efficient, tolerant, and most importantly, available. Essential data uses notes documents called data profiles, which allow you to take any collection of notes documents from any notes database and turn them into well-formatted JSON or XML streams. Data profiles describe where and how to get the data, as well as the format of the output. Now, snapshots of data, which is what you're going to get from calling URLs, represents a real step forward for us. However, real reporting and meaningful business intelligence only happens with advanced data analysis, which by definition requires comparison of multiple data sources. The same data profile, which gets live data via URL, can also be set up for scheduled exports. Localized data is bound to no system, but usable by all. A critical mass of this data, along with the ability to compare it against real-time data, enables genuine data analysis, the precursor to actionable business intelligence. As we look at data profiles, keep in mind, creating data from any notes data source requires only configuration of a single data profile document. And that represents an exceptionally low learning curve for your organization. Let's begin by creating a simple data profile. I have an environment here with 3 sample databases we're going to be using: tech issues, assets, and prospects. There's nothing special about any of them. I'm going to create a data profile against tech issues so we continue what we're looking at. A tech issue, again, a data profile, single form, you fill out multiple times to get any data source. I'm going to start by giving this a name. Tech issues 2, I'm going to call this. I'm going to specify an output type. Here I'm going to leave it as the default of XML. Next, I need to tell it what data I'm after. I select a database from our system. I simply navigate to the database. And choose the tech issues database. Once I choose this, a lot of information is going to be imported into this data profile from this database, allowing us to easily fill out this form. You'll notice as soon as I do, the server, replica ID, database name, and database path are all filled in, as long as some helpers down the line. So this is all filled in now for us. Next, I'm going to say what data I want from that database. Well, I would like all of the tech issues. So I can choose as my method all docs in a view. I'm going to select a view. Again, by virtue of selecting the database, this is a list of all views inside of the tech issues database. Remember me saying it's not a very complex database. I choose the issues view, and I now have my source data. So I have selected the data. The final piece of the data profile is to specify how I want to output the data. Now I'm going to be outputting this data in XML format, so it's going to kind of follow a standard XML format, meaning that I need to give some names to the containers of everything. So overall, I'm reporting on tech issues. So logically, it would make sense to name this tech issues. Now, each individual node under here might be an issue. Finally, I select a form here, which I'm going to base the data off of. And I'm going to choose the issue form out of the tech issues database. I select which elements I'm going to create data against. In this situation, I'm going to choose the issue number. Now, these are the fields from the notes database from the form issue. I'm going to choose the issue name, the issue number, and the customer. So quickly, I just say num, name, and custom. I click save, and that's it, folks. That's all there is to creating data from any notes data source. I name it, I specify what the output I want is, I say where I want to get the data, and then I say how it should look. You'll see that a sample output has come across the bottom of this, so I'm going to be producing XML for my tech issues database, and each issue will have 3 values with it. When I call for this data via URL, here's what I get. There is the tech issues XML that I just created. I can scroll through and see that I have 27 issues in my tech issue database. Let's say I want to extend that data set. I can simply come back here and say, oh, we need to add the severity to this. Severity. Second, I'm caught up in cash here. And would be able to add the severity. Let's take a look at a couple of other data profiles. For instance, if I wanted to look at assets, here's a data profile for assets. Assets is going to require my username and password because it's data sitting that needs our authentication. It's sitting with security. So here is assets data. I can similarly come back and say, let's look at prospects data. And here's my prospects data. So as you can see, by configuring 4 different documents, I've come out with 4 XML sources. These sources are callable from all over. Okay, I'm going to now turn the presentation back over to Scott for a couple of questions.
All right. Thank you, Hal. Yes. So quick question that I'm sure most of the attendees will have is, how do data profiles process big data sets?
That's a good question. So it handles it well, since essentially we're stripping everything down to bare bones information here. I'm going to be returning about 1,700 records here in 4 seconds. You'll see that the record set that I just returned here is absolutely huge. There's about 7 data points and 1,500 issues. So it does quite well with that.
All right, perfect. And as a follow-up to that is, how do data profiles handle secure documents?
Data profiles, okay, so the agents that end up executing and running this, the data profiles, run with the authority of the authenticated user. So if I'm authenticated as the user and I'm not capable of seeing those documents because there's readers or authors fields on those documents, they will not appear here. So your data is always secure going through this process.
All right, brilliant. Thank you. All right, we want to run another poll question at this time. So audience, if you're still with us, let's do a poll question. How are you currently generating reports on your Domino data? Oh, I take that back. I clicked on the wrong one. I apologize. Let me close that one and get the right one. And actually, I messed that up. That is the right one. Let me get this reset real quick. We'll do this poll. I'll tell you what, can we do this poll? We'll do this poll towards the end of the presentation. We have a couple more polls. We'll do that then. I'll have it reset by then, but let's not break up the presentation at this point. So let's move on, and Hal will go back to you talking to you about the reporting.
Sure. Now that you've leveraged data profiles to get Domino data out in the universal format, it's time to transform that data into actionable business intelligence. Microsoft Excel has become an industry standard and is commonly used for reporting in a majority of today's organizations. Essential reporting uses a configurable document called a report template for displaying information from data profiles inside of Excel. Once a report template has been configured, end users can easily run reports from a single drop-down menu, as you saw me do earlier. Essential reporting comes with a default Excel template designed to handle the basics such as authentication and notes, data import, and refresh. The default Excel file can be modified, extended, and reattached to the report template. All subsequent calls for the report will render with the most recent data and display it in the extended format. Anyone who has worked in the reporting arena knows well that reporting is a very iterative process. The ability to extend and reattach an Excel template makes it yours and keeps it relevant. And with that, let's see it in action. So I come into the Essential database here. to report templates, which is the default view from which we ran that report. I select Create Report. I'm going to choose the default Excel template that comes with Essentials. And now I'm going to fill it out. This has a lot less information to fill out than a data profile. It's really simple. So we're going to call this Issues 2. And I'm going to give it a category of issues, and this is just what's showing up in notes. I'm going to select a data profile. I'm going to select the full data profile that we use, better to show data with this. And I'm going to give it a file name where it gets saved. And I'm going to call this Issues 2. I save the report. I close it. Next time anyone comes into the Essential database, clicks Run Report, Issues 2 now appears there. I click OK. I select where I want the file to be saved. And here I am. By default, I come in and I have all of the data from my 27 issues as specified by my data profile. I have all these columns of data. I also have a preferences screen for where I start. The first thing that I'm going to do, start adding a couple meaningful reports. So let's start here and create, let's call this first one Issues by Category. And I'm going to choose the category here. And let's say that I want to see this as a pie chart. By using the simple wizard and answering 3 questions, I've created myself a pivot chart and a pivot table of issues by category. Let's go repeat that again. I'm going to now create issues by technician. And let's do this as a cone column chart. And finally, let's do something a little bit more complex. Let's create issues by customer and tech. So customer here, technician here, and let's go with the third data axis of severity. So issues by tech, customer, pivot. So once I've gone ahead, and you can also, not just using this wizard, I can go ahead and do other things and create my own report, create my own things via traditional Excel methods. So now that I've done this, let's go ahead and save this as new tech issues 2. I save this file. Go ahead and close this one too. Now, I go simply back to my issues 2. I reattach the template. New tech issues 2. And now, next time anyone calls for this report and runs tech issues 2, they'll be getting the extended format that I just created. The newest data into the extended format. So we just created these 3 views by category, by technician, by tech and customer. Data is imported, and we have this coming up now. You continue to iterate your data, your reports over time until you get them the way you want to. Now, I've mentioned multiple times that that's great. That's a snapshot of data in time that tells me where I am. It's the current data from my system. But real business intelligence is going to require us to compare that against something. So we're going to go back now and we're going to take a look at the original tech issues database that our Excel file that we looked at. Let's go ahead and drop that down here on the desktop. Now, from the menu here, and again, this is coming over like it did before with our just normal data set. From preferences, we're going to select and add a historical data set. I'm going to go ahead and choose a localized file that's been created by the export from March 1st. Place in the local file, refresh the data, and now you will notice that when I come in here, I can do things by taking a look like severity. And I can see that today we have 15% critical calls, down from 26, which is great because that's one of our corporate initiatives. I can look at my by technician screen and see that as of today, we have much more equal distribution than when Hal Hedges was running 60% of our tech tickets on March the 1st. I can look at customer graphics and see that Acme is now representing 60% of our total issues going on in the company, as opposed to previously where I was at 40%, and that Sheer Design, one of our clients, has obviously had their issues solved and has dropped off our radar this month. I can choose to blow this out a little bit and expand this and see how Acme breaks down at 60%, seeing that almost 19% of it's Acme network. I can come over to category and make analysis on trends here. The biggest trend that jumps out at me right away is software has gone from 4 to 19%. Continued trends of this month after month give me the ammunition I need to go to my managers and tell them, hey, our support organization needs a dedicated programming resource. So this is how you build business intelligence. You build out the reports for specifications. You take the historical data that's getting built automatically, and you start comparing them over time. So to fully recap here this section one more time, report templates allow you to take data from one or more data profiles and display them in Excel. So far, all I've done is created 2 notes documents, a data profile and a report template. And I've configured both of them fairly quickly. And that's how I've gotten here. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Scott for a quick second.
Yeah, so how, just to follow up on that, so are you saying that the reports can be refreshed or automatically updated every month or every week based on a needed schedule?
Absolutely. So the same data profiles that you create here that stream your data live also have the ability to be exported daily. So I've just gone ahead and created a scheduled export document. I simply specify how often I want it to run and where I want it to run. And what most people would do with this, instead of saving it on my C drive, is they'd save it to a shared network drive so that everyone can use this data. And you'll see from the log that daily it's taking and creating what I'm asking for.
Okay, brilliant. So how many reports could you actually make off of one data profile?
There's absolutely no limit to the number of reports that you can make off of one profile, or even applications that can access that data. The data is sitting there in a restful state, just waiting to be called anytime you need it.
Brilliant. Okay. Perfect. I have that poll question that I messed up before, so let's go ahead and I'm going to launch that. And I do apologize for messing up. So the question is, how are you currently generating reports on your Domino data? So again, same answers as we had before. That's kind of threw me off there for a second. So are you using third-party tools, you're doing custom development again, or you're not? And again, that's why you're here. So we have over 60, 70% of, 80% of us have already voted. Great. Really appreciate the audience participation here. All right, I'm going to share the results. So 13% use third-party tools already, 67% use custom development, and 20% are here and probably looking for some way to make reporting better or faster and easier out of their Domino data. So perfect. Thank you for participating. Okay, so we're back to you, Hal.
All right, so moving on to a new topic here, Essential Web. Essential Web is our newest offering in the Essentials framework. The purpose of Essential Web is to remove virtually all of the barriers required to web enable a notes application. Essential Reports is about taking data and making sense of it inside of Excel. Essential Web does the same thing in a browser. Using existing data profile, Essential Web allows users to draw their own browser-based reports and screens. Much like extending Excel templates in the reporting sphere, iteratively extending a view via Essential Web builds beautiful results in no time. Let's take a look now at our Open Tech Issues web view. I open up Tech Issues here. Now, right off the bat, what's this look like, guys? It looks like a notes view on the web, and kind of that's what it is, except it's a good notes view. The notes views that come by default out of the box are terrible and clunky, as we all know. And we've kind of built the essential view piece of Essential Web to kind of correct that issue. Now, I like to say that when these things come out of the box, that these are able views. Well, what do I mean by that? Number one, they're searchable. Number two, they're filterable. Number three, they're printable. Number four, they're exportable. Now, this export would perform exactly the same export that we were using inside of there, dropping down the Excel spreadsheet and opening up for use. They are chart and graph enabled. So I can just simply click on the chart and graph button, select, I want to see severity as a bar chart. Or donut. Or maybe I want to take a look at my customer. All these things are coming out of the right of the box. These are all the able features. The last able feature, and perhaps the most important able feature, is configurable. So, and it sounds kind of weird to say this is kind of fun thing to do, guys. I can come into here and draw my interface. So let's start here by saying I'm going to drag some columns off of here. I don't care about issue description, and I don't really care what data was created. So if I commit my changes, right away those two columns disappear. Let's say I want to go back in here and say, yeah, that's what I want, except I want to show the category up here at the top level. So let's call this HAL category view. When I click Save Interface, I'm adding it to the list of interfaces over on the left-hand side. So now I've got a view of all of my issues by category. When I look over here, you'll see that there's a number of interfaces here. Every time I create and save an interface, I'm pushing it out to my other users of this system. So let's take one last quick look at the view profile, and you'll see this is absolutely simple. So I've done nothing to this view profile other than to that web view to take a notes view and turn it to a web view, other than filling out this document. Again, I give it a name, I select a data profile, and I say which columns of data are to be displayed. From there, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping in the browser to get what I want. One thing you will notice here is that we've got header and footer includes, and as I'll talk about in a second, you know, Domino spent years boxing you in and saying, hey, you can have this, but you can't change it, or here's this little tiny cubby hole where you need to stick this in. This whole product has been built along the lines that you own this. We are enabling you. At no point are we going to say, no, you can't own or configure that. We've made it completely in mind with the idea that the header's yours, the footer's yours, the content's yours, the way it's displayed, the colors, that's all yours. The only thing that's not yours in here is this little gray bar, which doesn't even print. So everything in the system in Essentials is yours. All right. With that, I'm going to go back for our third and final poll question here, our third poll question, Scott.
Okay, great. So this is the third poll question and final for Hal's segment. So I'm going to launch this poll. So do you have Domino applications that would benefit from web reporting? possible answers are yes, no, or not sure. And maybe by clicking not sure, you'd like some more information about that. So we're already at almost 50% of us voting. So again, the not sure is, yeah, maybe, but I'd like to see some more information on that. All right. We have a very active audience. We already have 80% voted. Give us 2 more seconds here for another couple of clicks, and then I will share the results. All right, here we go. So 73% say yes, they certainly would have applications would benefit from web reporting, and 27% not sure. So everybody agrees there's probably something we should be doing with web reporting with their Domino data. So excellent.
All right, guys, I'm going to now finish up by talking about a little bit of points about the Essentials framework that I think it's important that you guys take away with you. And secondly, a little bit about our future roadmap here, our development roadmap for the rest of 2017. I want to point out that the Essentials framework is architecturally sound. One micro function stacks atop another to produce a whole greater than the sum of each part. By micro function, I refer to the fact that the only job of essential data is to produce files and streams of XML. Essential reports only function is to marry data in Excel. And essential views only knows about turning good data into browser screens using JavaScript. The underlying technology is also appropriately distributed, with best-of-breed solutions doing what they do best. The Domino HTTP server provides data and authentication. Complex data analysis is performed by Excel. And in the browser, data is rendered with JavaScript and CSS provides the styling. Even the production of content is distributed with individuals from across your organization. And as I said before, the Essentials framework is extensible. We don't expect your aesthetic taste to match ours, nor do we assume that everyone has the same problems or the same types of data. In Essentials, everything is yours. The data, the naming conventions, the report, the styles, the colors, everything you can think of. So as you can see from the roadmap, the next thing that's coming up is CRUD. And CRUD is not the stuff that's on the bottom of your shoe. It is an acronym in programming, which means create, read, update, and delete. If we come back and look at this web view, the thing that stands out to most people when they see this is, yeah, it's a notes, fully functional notes view on the web, more than fully functional notes view, and here's a document. What I'd like to be able to do is click into that document, open it, edit it, and have the view redraw. And I'd like to have a button to create a new tech issue. Well, that's CRUD. So CRUD represents taking a notes application along with the technologies that we already have, the data, the reporting, and the views. Once you add CRUD to that, you have the ability to fully web enable your notes applications through point and click configuration. That's what's happening. That's what's being worked on. So we are really excited about that for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is it means potentially huge savings for most organizations, because if you can reduce the number of note seats by simply having everyone use their applications on the web, it adds up really quick. We're excited to continue enhancing the solution. We look forward to your feedback. And with that, let me turn things back over to Scott.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to switch the screen over to Jim. And let's get that screen up. I think we're jumping on to
I think you may have your final poll question.
Oh, yep, that's right. We do have a poll question. Let me jump back over. How do you have your screen still up with the poll question?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I think we need to jump.
We can skip it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to jump right into the next poll question here. And I'm going to launch this. So besides Domino, what other data sources would you want to extract data from to deliver point and click reporting functionality? So a big question there, but it will help us understand what other data you have. that you possibly could be benefiting from these reporting tools. So your choices are MySQL or SQL, NoSQL, DB2, Oracle, or Mongo. And we're very aware there's plenty of other choices, but we kind of picked the top ones that we knew were very popular. All right, going to share the results. We have a lot of participation. We have 69% at MySQL or SQL, 25% NoSQL, 38% DB2, 31% Oracle, and 25% Mongo. So a lot of different data sources. So brilliant. Thank you for sharing. All right, Dylan, can we see your screen? Let's see if it pops up. Dylan, there we go, perfect. All right, so Jim, I think we're turning the time back over to you at this time.
Hi, it's Jim Angle back again. Apologize.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Jim.
Scott, am I being heard? Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. Had a little phone glitch there. My apologies, folks. Thank you, Hal. Thank you, Scott. I would now like to address the availability of essential reports. We price essential reports based off the number of documents created. There are two types of documents. Data profiles. One is required for each database you want to report against. Two are reporting templates. Templates can be unique or generic and can be used with multiple databases to extract reports. Okay, as a special offer for this webinar, we're also offering 2 hours of consulting time free with the trial of essential reporting. While consulting piece of essential reporting is not necessary, we want to assure that you get off to a quick start. With essential reporting, you can begin gathering business intelligence right out of the box. Feel free to reach out to RPR Wyatt, info@RPR Wyatt, to schedule your free consulting appointment if you have any questions on the availability of essential reports or need anything else. Folks, this pricing that's up there is web only. It's a webinar only. It's an intro pricing. This pricing will be going up next month. Anybody who's not on this call will not be seeing this pricing, I'll be honest with you, okay? This is incentive pricing. All right. As we mentioned earlier, in the presentation, we'll be giving away essential reporting for free for 60 days. This offer is available to every webinar attendee, no purchase required. We're confident you'll love the essential reporting once you're able to see it in your own data and use it and see your own data, transforming actionable data into business intelligence. All right. After the webinar, you'll get a copy of a notes database containing essential reporting with a 60-day license, an installation guide, plus access to our consultant assistants for setup to assist with your deployment of essential reporting. If for any reason you do not receive your notice regarding essential reports, please reach out to us at info@RPR Wyatt to claim your software. And thank you.
Okay, so it's now time for our questions and answers segment. So we already have some questions queued up. I do appreciate the audience participation here. So this is your time to get more information. So the very first very first question is, does this product work on iSeries-based Domino servers?
The answer to that is yes. The only requirement for this, can we make me presenter again quick, please, Scott?
Certainly. All right.
So the only requirement for this database is that the HTTP server is up and configured. The Domino Essentials framework is a simple database. It's actually an incredibly low footprint. With all these documents in it, it's 13 megs. It's only 3 megs as a without any design elements in it. So the only requirement is that the HTTP server is up and running.
Okay, perfect. Next question. If the notes clients go away, what does that do for your product as it looks like you're developing in the notes client?
So good question on that one. So right now, the interface for going and creating reports is going in and clicking Run Report. I can do the same thing over a web browser. Each of the reports also has a URL that I could click and call directly from a browser. So by clicking export in here, when I go into my report template, my report view profile, I simply specify that I want to include a download of a report. And I just specify the URL from here for it. So that's how we're going to be dealing with that.
Okay. Perfect. So I have a next question is, I think, following up on the poll question of what other data, and I'm assuming that we're asking that so we knew what other data sources could be used in the reporting, but they also asked, is SAP, could that be included on that list?
Sure, great question. So in both the web views and in Excel, what we are expecting is this. So we are expecting an XML stream, a well-formatted XML stream to come in. So whatever system you're using, as long as that's capable of going in and producing a well-formatted XML stream, you can use any data source with this. I could very well be displaying SQL data in here right now if I went into the view profile and chose to give it a view profile that was looking at SQL data.
Perfect. All right. We only had 3 questions queued up, so we're moving right along here. I'll give a last call here for questions. I'll do an awkward 5-second poll here before I turn the time back over to Jim, and we'll give Jim the last word here and wrap up. Okay, so I'm going to switch the screen back over to Jim, and I'll give the time to you. We don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Alrighty, folks, please visit our website to see our complete portfolio of Domino solutions, as well as our calendar of upcoming conferences and webinars. In 2 weeks, our team will be attending the Social Connections event in Chicago, where our IBM champion Alan Forbes will be conducting a live session on DACA. If you plan on going to the conference, please stop by and say hi. If you can't attend the conference this year, sign up and receive Alan's presentation slides from our website. Again, thank you so much for attending today's webinar. We hope you found the value in the solution that was presented, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on Essential Reporting. Again, thank you for being with us today and sharing. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Hal. And take care, everybody.